the basic attraction of taking on a difficult task after I agonized over it, and I did agonize. It was not an easy decision. I decided that I would, in fact, accept the post as Secretary of Defense.
Mr. President, can you give us the timetable for how you reached this decision? When did you first start assembling the short list? How long was the short list? And you've taken so many people from the Ford administration. Do you have any role for former President Ford?
In inverse order, no. I talked to President Ford, get good advice from him. In terms of how long, I moved fast on this one. I was telling you the truth when I said I have not considered anybody else during the last days of the Senate debate. I wasn't about to shift gears or send a signal that wasn't true, that I was interested in anything other than the confirmation of John Tower. That's history. That's done. So when it became clear yesterday that the votes weren't there yesterday, I began to think and talk to my top advisors here, get opinions from them. They reached out a little bit, and then I called Dick today, and he came over and visited with me about 1 o'clock, I think it was, and I said I want to make a decision fast on this because I know him well and have known him over the years well, and so that's about the way it evolved. Yeah, Jerry.
Mr. President, have you?
He wants a follow-up.
If I may, John, I was first contacted late yesterday afternoon by General Scowcroft and Governor Sununu. We had a discussion at that point that initiated my consideration of it, and I just discussed it with the President today.
Mr. Secretary, did you, Mr.
Jerry.
President, have you talked about this selection yet with Senator Nunn and Senator Mitchell? If so, can you describe their reaction a little bit? And did you get any kind of a commitment about the timing of confirmation hearings?
Jerry, what we did on that was divide up here just recently the names to talk to, and I believe General Scowcroft talked to Senator Mitchell and to Senator Nunn, and I would let them characterize their reaction to it. And I've talked to the Speaker. The only one of the kind of hierarchy that we haven't reached is Bob Michael, and it's very important that he be notified, but I expect he will be by all of this. But nevertheless, we divided it up, and the reaction from the people that we've contacted, the understandable ones, has been very, very positive. Yeah.
Mr. President,
Sir?
on the hearing schedule? Do you know yet?
I don't know. John, did you talk about timing?
I asked Senator Mitchell to evaluate how quickly it could be done, and we will talk again in the next day or two about what kind of schedule they can deal with.
Yeah, and we've started the clearances. Name check has been completed, rapid fire time, and Dick has undergone 2 thorough full field checks, and he's had. Has there been another one since those?
69.
Yeah, and the preliminary check today. So I think that'll go very well. Yeah.
Mr. President, can I ask more about the Quayle speech? He is out in Indianapolis this afternoon accusing Senate Democrats of using McCarthy-like tactics in the defeat of John Tower. With respect to your comments about putting the Tower nomination behind you, would you tell us if Mr. Quayle speaks for you?
I haven't seen what he said, so I can't tell you whether he speaks for me. I speak for myself. He speaks for himself. But I explained why that he feels strongly about it. I feel strongly about it, and I'm determined to move forward. And I think that this nomination will set that tone, and we'll see how we go from here.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
one of the things that Senator Tower did in this period was work up a strategy, which apparently you approved of, which was if you would squeeze the defense budget down into the limit set by the Congress, if the Congress would let you make some of the or all of the choices. Is this strategy going to be passed along to Dick Cheney, and do you plan to pursue a similar strategy?
I'm going to have to defer answering that because though we talked about budget generally and making tough choices generally, we didn't go into that much detail yet, and I think he's entitled to giving me his views on it before we do. Yeah, Jerry?
Mr. President, have you asked the congressman the obvious questions? Is there anything in the background that would be prohibitive or embarrassing or anything like that? How much
Yes.
detail have you done?
I'm satisfied on that.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
Mr. President, can you,
Can't hear you, sir. Go ahead. Okay. Please.
oh, I'm sorry. You got me so flustered, I forgot my question.
I'll come back. That's not fair. Here.
Mr. President, if we could go back to Mr. Quayle just for a second, I'm not sure that the American public really understands the difference between speaking for himself and speaking for you, since he is your vice president. And he is out in Indianapolis, has used the words McCarthy-type tactics, and yet you're here wanting to have things go smoothly for the congressman. I'm just wondering how you can square your desire to have peace with Congress and what your vice president is saying in Indianapolis.
Please don't ask me to comment on something I haven't read. That's what I'd say to that one. Yeah. And then we'll do it.
A question for Congressman Cheney about defense policy. Does he have a view on the Strategic Defense Initiative? Does he believe it's American can erect a perfect defense, or something more modest?
I have extensive views on defense policy, but I don't believe I'll share those today. It seems to me it's appropriate for me to discuss those matters before the Senate committee during the confirmation process, and not in this forum.
Now back.